He was a star on the football team, MVP 3 years in a row, Player of the Year 3 years in a row, all city. I mean, he was one of those kids that everybody knew he's gonna make it, and they wanted to be a part of that because he was friendly. I used to always tell him, man, don't be cocky. Don't be surprised how good you are. This is not nothing that just happened. This is 17 years of hard work. This was supposed to happen. We worked for this, so don't act like, wow, am I this good? Just be humble. You know you're good, and people will gravitate toward you.
On a quiet Sunday evening, March 2nd, 2008, 17-year-old Jamil Shaw Jr. was shot to death by an illegal alien, just a few short yards before he got home. His death has sparked a furor over the don't ask, don't tell immigration policy of the Los Angeles Police Department. We have all the frustrating details over this terrible tragedy, next on Full Disclosure. Hello, I'm Leslie Dutton. Today on Full Disclosure, we're bringing you the news behind the news in this part one of our interview with Anita and Jamil Shaw Sr., the parents of a murdered young man. Anita Shaw was serving in Iraq as a sergeant in the United States Army when she was called in to see her commander.
They called me in the office, and when I went in the office, the chaplain was in the office. I'm like, okay. What's going on? So they told me to have a seat, and I sat right next to the chaplain, and my commander stood in front of me with he printed out the paper, and my first sergeant was sitting at his desk. I don't know where my platoon sergeant was. I just know he was in the office, and the commander takes the paper off, and he reads. He says, "Sergeant Shaw, I'm sorry to inform you, but your son Jamal has been killed." And I'm like, "No," and I remember was shouting, "No, no!" I was sitting down, and all of a sudden I'm up and I'm across the room. I'm screaming, I'm kicking, I'm hitting. They're blocking the doors. Everybody's telling me calm down, and I'm like, no, no. How could this happen?
They had a nickname for their son. They called him Jazz. We asked Mr. Shaw to tell us about how it unfolded.
I'll start with Sunday morning. We had woke up Sunday, not woke up, but we go to this camp in Pasadena, a clinic, every Sunday morning. We usually go to church, but for 10 weeks we had this clinic to go to in Pasadena. So what we would do is go there for like 3 hours, and it's like for the elite athletes that are, they're trying to get to Division I college. These guys are like invited there. So it's a good day. We go there every Sunday. We was like 8 weeks into it. I only had 2 weeks left. And on the way home, like we usually do, stop at get something to eat. And what you want to eat? Let's go to McDonald's. He wanted a kid's meal that day, Happy Meal. Because he just was a kid. He just turned 17 a couple of months ago, before he got murdered, and we got a Happy Meal, got the food, dropped all the friends off, came home. He gave his little toy to his brother because my mother was watching him that day. So he asked me could he go to the mall in the car, and I really didn't want him to let him go. So I ignored him, thinking maybe he won't ask again, because you don't want the kids to go outside. I'm always thinking something's gonna happen, Sometimes I'm overprotective. And I ignored him like I didn't hear him. So we got in the house. He said, "Hey, Dad, can I go to the mall? Remember I asked you?" I was like, man, with who? I wanted a reason, an excuse to say no. So I hope he mentioned some kid that I could say, oh, no, you can't go with him. So he told me who he was going with. Of course, he was one of the good ones, So I was like, oh, man. I was like, all right, man, just until 7, because we got to go to the, get your track spikes. Because he had a track meet that Friday. So we go, so he said, okay, cool, got his clothes ready, got dressed, hugged, and he said, all right, see you at 7, don't forget, 7 o'clock, be in this house. Okay.
And that was the last time Jamil Shaw saw his son alive. As the evening started, Jazz was apparently running late. His streetwise father was concerned.
Get here, it was 7 o'clock, no jazz. 7:20. Like I always do, I'm calling, I'm stay on the phone. And I called him and said, hey man, where you at? He said, oh man, I'm on the bus. We missed the bus, got on the wrong one, and we had to get off and change buses. By the time we got back to the right bus, we're off schedule, so we on our way. I said, man, you should have called me. I would just came and got you. We was ready to go anyway, waiting for you. He said, oh, it's cool, I'm on the bus, so we all right, we're safe. Because he knew that was my main concern. Not that he's in trouble, but he was safe. I said, all right, reluctantly, sort of upset because he didn't call me. I said, I'm gonna call you in about 45 minutes to an hour, give you a chance to get here. I called him about an hour later. I called him and he said, oh damn, I'm right here on the bridge, right around the corner. The freeway is right here. There's an overpass across the freeway. He said, I'm actually on the overpass as we speak. So that's just like right around the corner. He would have went down to the corner, came back home. He said, I'll be there like about 5 minutes. Oh, okay, cool. Felt relief, like, whoo, he made it home again. All right, today's a good day.
But his relief was short-lived. Moments later, he heard the gunshots.
All of a sudden, pow, pow, woo. I remember saying, damn. Because it was like, woo, that was close. You could tell that was close. And I picked up the phone. First I went to the window and looked outside. Didn't see nothing. I guess the guy was running back to the car at that time because I didn't see him. I didn't see nobody. And I was like, uh-oh, I hope Jazz just gets shot because I know where he should be at. I know where the gunshot came from. I'm thinking, man, this don't look good. I picked up the phone to call him to say, hey, man, somebody's shooting. If you're not to that spot yet, turn around, go the other way, get in the bushes or whatever, something. I'm coming to get you. Came outside to see what's going on, and I eased outside and looked, see what's going on because he didn't answer the phone. And oh my God, he was laying down the street where the monument is, laying there. I was like, oh God, oh my God. And just that fast, it was right there in my face. That sound, I could hear it in my ear. His face was right there. I was like, damn, he looked like he dead. Because he was asleep. His eyes was closed, head was to the side. He looked like he was just really good sleep. And I knew that he's not sleeping down on the sidewalk. And I went running down there, this is happening real fast, right? I went running down there full speed. And I could see already from here that he had something was going on with his forehead. I was like, what? It just stood out that, what the heck is that? As I'm going running, I could see it's a hole. Oh my God, the boy's dead. I'm from here to you, and somebody grabbed me. Was like, no, you don't want to see it, you don't want to see it. I'm wrestling with people, and the police came, trying to find out what the hell. Who the hell did that? I'm literally screaming, who did that? Why? Just was so mad. My mother and sister ran outside. Jamil, what's wrong? What's wrong? Jazz is dead. What? Somebody just killed Jazz. Everybody just hysterical. What the? Oh, it was just, I went crazy. I lost my mind. I was just so mad. Who would do that? Why? And I remember screaming to him, I love you, man. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm sorry, man. I'm hollering. We did everything right. We did everything right. I'm just mad.
We did everything right. And still, Jazz is dead. How could this happen? Every parent's worst nightmare. Then the dark questions start. Was Jazz culpable in this crime? Was he a gangbanger? When we come back, we'll talk to Anita and Jamil Shaw about their son and his background. We'll be right back.
A concerned citizen and activist for more than 3 decades, Leslie Dutton works to ensure you have a voice in government. Through Full Disclosure's online video blogs, she's asking the tough questions.
Where on earth is the mainstream media?
And you can participate.
We want to hear from you on this issue.
Full Disclosure video blogs, the news behind the news, online at www.fulldisclosure.net. Get involved today.
Welcome back to Full Disclosure in our interview with Anita and Jamil Shaw, parents of the young man who was murdered on his street, just a few steps away from his front door. Was he just an innocent victim, or was there a reason why he was shot? What kind of a boy was Jamil Shaw Jr.?
Yeah, he was a real good kid. From day one, he was really social, always good, always friendly. He could always talk to people. I used to always say, you know the people? No, I just met them. I thought you knew him for a long time. You know, he was really a nice person. He got along with everybody. Never been arrested. Never been to jail. Never been in the school police. Never been suspended from school. And he wasn't like the Pope running around holy water on people. You know what I mean? He was just an average, decent American citizen. And he helped me with my son, you know. And he was just so well behaved, you know. He bought into, I don't want to get in trouble. And, you know, I made him scared of the police stations and scared of jail. He didn't want to go, because I let him graphically actually talked about it to where he was like, woo, I don't want to go there. You know, I was always a good storyteller, so I made him believe that if you do the right thing and you do everything right, you're going to get rewarded down the road.
Apparently, Jazz was very close to his family. Unlike many typical teenagers, he was openly proud of his relationship to his mom, dad, and little brother.
Jazz always liked to give me hugs in public. When he was with his friends, you know how most teenagers don't like give their parents hugs, like, I'm too grown for that.
Yeah.
He's like, this is my mama, I'm gonna hug her. He hug me, kiss me, sit on my lap. I'm like, okay, you a little too big for that now. I went to his junior high school. I talked to one of the teachers down there, and they're like, I remember him when he was in my class. All he wanted to do at lunchtime was play football. That's all he wanted to do with the other kids. No problem. I was like, wow. I knew he was good, but wow, it's nice to hear it from a teacher.
Next day, you know, the word spread, and they had to get all these counselors to the school because the whole school was just devastated because he was so popular.
Yes, but some parents aren't aware of the dark side of their children. Was there any history of contact with law enforcement? Either school police or city or sheriff? We ask him. Has anybody checked his criminal background?
You know, when it first happened, they didn't check. But as time went on, you could just feel that they're investigating and want to make sure what he was doing. They realized he had no juvenile history. He was still a juvenile. I mean, he's still a minor.
Yeah.
But he wasn't never in no CYA, juvenile halls, school police, nothing. They checked everybody. They realized, man, this kid was good. You know, he had no background. He wasn't gang banging.
Mr. Shaw explained that it unfolded just like a mystery novel.
We didn't even find out what happened until the funeral. They came to the funeral and told us what happened. We got the guy, and they're going to have a press conference later on. Then after the funeral, we were out here doing the repast, and they said, hey, turn the TV. Everybody came inside. The mayor was there, and Chief Bratton, and Herb Wesson said, hey, we got the guy, 19-year-old guy, Espinoza, 18th Street gang. So we knew that time, but nobody said nothing about his legal status. Of course, that was next. Was he a legal alien? Because the people who was involved with that kind of stuff was trying to find that out. Me, at the time, we weren't really into the if he was a legal alien or not thing at first. I mean, we just found, we got the guy who did it, 18th Street gang.
So at first, it was enough to know that they had the criminal, and that he was a member of the notorious 18th Street gang. The mayor and the chief of police were getting tough on gang crime, and this fit perfectly within their playbook. But then, when it was revealed that he was an illegal alien, suddenly all of the city officials went for cover.
When people found that out, that's when you could see that everybody picked a side. Then first, everybody was all together, one big community. We were sad what happened to this boy. We were mad that he got killed. But when it became he was illegal, separated sides. You can see that the mayor picked his side, all the council people, everybody who was on the side of good was over here. Everybody was on the, just put it this way, people who were on the side of right got on this side. People on the side of wrong moved to that side, because people who were wrong, they knew that he was a legal alien. He shouldn't have been here. We found out how the LA County let him out without calling ICE. ICE never checked him. They let him out on a Saturday night without supervision, no probation department checked him out, nothing like that. They let him out on a Saturday night, unsupervised pretty much, knowing that this boy had just got out of jail with an assault with deadly weapon, resisting arrest, battery on a peace officer. He did all that, only got 4 months in jail. We were overcrowded, so they let him out into the public.
So the justice system failed to protect Jazz Shaw. Pedro Espinoza had been arrested and convicted for several violent felonies, served a minimal sentence in the county jail, and was released early without anyone noticing that he was not in this country legally. What was the response of the public officials? Shh, Be quiet.
It just seemed like they didn't want us to talk about that part anymore. The legal immigration part, it was like, no, don't talk about that part. It's going to cause trouble in the community. That's what I was first hearing.
Where was this coming from? Being full disclosure, we wanted to find out who would want to actively suppress revealing this flagrant weakness in our public justice system. Was it because of their inexplicable fondness for Special Order 40?
It started with the mayor's office.
The mayor's office and Herb Weston office.
City council.
The city council, yeah. Because when we went to the city council, we got the brush job from them. It was like, okay, we'll hear you, but we really don't want
They
to.
ain't listening.
They really didn't want to hear what we had to say. And even though other people spoke, we spoke last. They did not. We could tell they didn't want to hear what we had to say.
Why? Why would our public officials want to hide this critically important incident? The family began supporting an initiative which has been named after their son. It's called Jamil's Law, and it directly attacks the Don't Ask, Don't Tell Special Order 40 immigration policy of the Los Angeles Police Department. But the city officials seem to be embarrassed by the fact that Jazz was killed by an illegal immigrant.
Sometimes they do it differently. Some of them say, don't say nothing. Just be quiet. You're getting used. Some would say, well, you want support from people, the higher ups. You got to get support. You got to drop the illegal immigration part. I used to do speaking engagements, so to speak. They would say, can you come talk to the kids about this or that? Then when I get there, they would say, do you mind not talking about the legal immigration part? And first for a while I did it. After a while I said, hey, no more of that. If you don't want to talk about Jamil's Law, I'm not showing up. Because at first it was, everybody wanted to get some help to the community about what happened. But then they knew my platform had changed from just, it's just get along, Rodney King kind of thing, till I'm pissed off. I started finding out y'all had him in y'all custody and nobody arrested him and he didn't get deported. And that's when it was like people started coming over. The mayor's office was first because he was connected to that tree where it happened that the mayor was involved in it. So he came and of course, he gave us support and everything and you're just a good man and all that stuff, which was nice. But then once he found out he's a legal alien, he ain't been over here since. The mayor has not called me, hasn't said anything, hasn't wrote any letters, nothing. But he did mention once on his State of the City speech that a superstar in the neighborhood destined for greatness was gunned down in front of his house, but never mentioned by a legal alien gangbanger that we had in our system. The boy been in trouble since he was a baby pretty much. We could have easily took care of this with just one button on the computer, checked him out, or a phone call ICE. He did nothing,
Are the LA City and the county trying to dodge their own obvious liability for turning loose this predator? We're going to take a quick break right now, and when we come back, we'll hear how the politics of the DA's office tried to tarnish the reputation of this murdered young boy, instead of aggressively prosecuting the cold-blooded killer. We'll be right back. It's one thing to see these little video blogs on the internet that are capturing a moment or two in time. It's another thing to hear a serious public policy maker reveal a situation that's impacting citizens across the country.
Full Disclosure video blogs online at www.fulldisclosure.net.
Welcome back to Full Disclosure and our interview with Anita and Jamil Shaw Sr. Jamil Shaw Jr. was murdered on Fifth Avenue on the exact spot where some time ago Mayor Villaraigosa had personally planted a tree in a photo op to publicize his city beautification program. Now the mayor wanted to install a plaque where Jazz was slain to commemorate the death of a young man and the tree of life. For reasons that later became obvious to Mr. Shaw, there seemed to be a hurry to get the plaque in the ground. In fact, the city installed a temporary plaque since the permanent plaque would take weeks to cast and inscribe.
March 21st, they put the plaque down. And everything seemed so rushed, but at the time, it seemed okay because, you didn't put too much thought into it. But all of a sudden, the very next day, officially in LA Times, Pedro Espinosa, illegal alien. So we figured that's why they rushed it, because the mayor couldn't come back after that. He knew he couldn't come back, not because he wasn't wanted over here, but because he made his stand already on illegal immigration and with the sanctuary city and stuff like that. So he couldn't come back over here and talk bad about the illegal aliens. So they got the plaque down, temporary plaque down, in a hurry. And then the next day, the Times came out with the article. He was officially illegal alien, came from Mexico, and all the stuff about him.
When this final plaque was installed, the LA public officials were nowhere to be found at the permanent installation ceremony.
When it was made, of course, we're not coming back over there, because now Mr. Shaw is deep into, illegal immigration, Jamil Law, Special Order 40, cities divided, all this confusion's going on because of this. So he couldn't come back and say what? I'm sorry about illegal alien killed your son? No, because he's been fighting against it.
Mr. Shaw brings up an interesting point that gang intervention has become big business in Los Angeles. Race wars don't bring in federal money like fighting gangs does.
They got this gang intervention money that they've been banking on, and now we got this money coming in for the gang intervention. We got a new gang czar, and we're gonna disguise this killing as a gang killing instead of making it racially motivated.
Mr. Shaw is bringing up something that seems to terrify public officials in Los Angeles: interracial homicides, especially brown on black killings. They nervously want to claim that Jazz was killed because of gang conflicts, not because of his race.
Because everybody's heard about this black on brown on black killings from the Mexican Mafia and the Avenue 13 and the Florencia gang and the Gateway area, Florence Firestone. There was all these killings, Highland Park, when they were trying to get the black people out their neighborhoods. So they were killing blacks, and they would disguise it as gang killings. They was, oh, your son's in a gang. Oh, was he? I didn't know that. Then they go in the house and grieve because they're embarrassed. They don't want anybody to know my son was gang banging, even though they knew in their heart he wasn't in no gang. So when it got to me, of course, I wasn't going for it. I was like, saying, you know what? This is a racially motivated crime. And I started talking like that, and the evidence was pointing to that. That's when everything got really bad.
So the district attorney's office began a campaign to link Jazz to a gang, something that Mr. Shaw wasn't going to tolerate.
Jail. How is people getting out of county jail and getting a gun in 24 hours and killing people in the community just because they're black? Oh, well, maybe he thought that he was in a gang. Well, how do you think that? Well, he had on a Spider-Man backpack. Spider-Man. That's a gang attire.
Yeah.
Spider-Man, how is that gang attire, And then he had some red in his belt, so maybe Espinosa thought, and there's not a kid in America wears their shirt short enough to show their belt. You know what I mean? You know how kids dress. They wear their shirts so long, sometimes like they have a nightgown, Yeah. My son, I said, man, you can't wear no shirts below your thighs, because long, some of them are just so long, this shirt's almost down to the ground. It's not a nightgown. You want to lay down and go to bed. So we knew they were they were trying to find a motive.
We asked him if he knew what Pedro Espinosa, the alleged killer, was doing in their neighborhood.
But yeah, he was visiting a guy in the neighborhood, knocked on his door, looking for his son, and his son wasn't home. So on the way back to his car, saw my son coming. Ooh, the black kid, go over and kill him. Because it wasn't like he saw this notorious gangster that I've been looking for. He just got out of jail within 24 hours. So Espinosa didn't know nothing about nothing. He just happened to be here because this guy that he was going to visit, his mom and dad works at night, Latino guy. So it's like the party house all of a sudden. They drinking beer, smoking weed and stuff. So Espinosa, not knowing, by him being in jail, not knowing what's going on, didn't realize that on Sundays, his mom and dad, that's their off day. So he came by on Sunday night. Now, any other guy's friends know better. Sunday night is the no party night at that house. So he went over there to party, probably drinks, got out of jail, do whatever you're gonna do, knocked on the door. Hey, is your son home? No. Okay, well, tell him Pedro. Used his real name and everything. Tell him Pedro was here. He said, okay. He walked down the stairs, went down to his car. His dad said about a minute later, heard the gunshots. So Espinosa was basically coming to hang out. And on the way back to his car, ooh, I'm gonna go kill this person right quick. It was so nonchalant.
And so the Shahs have begun a crusade to change LAPD's Special Order 40 with Jamil's Law.
We don't want this to happen to another child. It's like the illegal aliens, gangbangers, they're coming over here from wherever country they're coming from, and they're killing all of the United States children.
The goal is to free the police to arrest, detain, and deport known gang members who are in the country illegally before they commit a crime.
Yeah, that's why we're trying to amend Special Order 40. We're trying to give the police officers a chance to fix the federal immigration rules, which says that if you're in the country 6 months, when you're in the country illegally, you get caught 6 months in the county jail. So that means when you come over here from day one, you have a warrant on you. It's like having a warrant. So if you get pulled over for expired registration and they find out you're illegal, then you have a warrant. It's like you having a speeding ticket you didn't pay and you get put up by the police. They're not going to ask you walk down the street, hey, you got a ticket on you? No, but when they check your ID, they find that out. When you pull somebody over, check their identification, why you can't ask them are they here a citizen or not? Where's there no database that could show that they're illegal, they're here illegally, and then you get deported? But they're letting them, they can't even ask.
Mr. Shah wants LAPD to use their statewide Cal Gangs database to identify known gang members and then have the officers verify their immigration status.
So what we want to do is we want them to be required to ask. You pull somebody over, they have a data. We even trying to get them to don't even ask. You know you have a database full of all the gangbangers. You know these guys been in and out of jail most of their life. They got tattoos on their face, on their head, on their arms. You know they're gangbangers. You know they've been deported before. You know they're doing crimes. Go over there and take care of business. Why are you going to wait for somebody to get killed or robbed or raped? You say, okay, he did a crime now. We'll go get him, put him in the jail, and let him right back into the neighborhood.
Which is exactly how the murderer wound up on Fifth Avenue and killed Jamil Shah Jr. in cold blood. We want to thank Anita and Jamil Shah Sr. for sharing their tragic story with us. And we want to know what you, the viewers, think. Do you think that the City of Los Angeles should revise their Special Order 40 policy of don't ask, don't tell, to allow police officers the ability to confront known gang members and challenge their immigration status? Please join us next time for part 2 of this interview, where Mr. Shah will tell us how the District Attorney's Office tried to paint his son as a gang member and tried to intimidate Mr. Shah to dissuade him from attacking Special Order 40. Please call our Full Disclosure Town Hall number at 1-800-867-7777. That's 1-800-867-7777. And if you leave your name and number, we'll get back to you. Or you can log on to our website at www.fulldisclosure.net and leave your opinion there. And if you leave your email address, we'll be happy to respond. I'm Leslie Dutton. Thank you.
Full Disclosure is a non-commercial public affairs program sponsored by the Citizens Protection Alliance. For a transcript or videotape copy of today's program or a listing of airtimes and channels, call our toll-free number at 1-800-867-7777 or visit our website at www.fulldisclosure.net.
You know, because this guy, when he killed my son, he'd been in jail since he was 12. They never checked him not one time. They let him out. Okay, see you next time. Like, you know they're going to come back. Like, you know, they come back. He's been in jail over and over and over. Nobody cares because they're letting them out into neighborhoods where they don't think people care, because who's complaining? I haven't heard nobody in the last 10 years complain that what's going on with the legal alien gangbangers.
Jamil Shah Sr. is fed up with the law enforcement system that allowed an illegal immigrant to be released from jail after serving a couple of months for violent felonies, and within 24 hours, this known gang member murdered his son in cold blood, right in front of his home. How did this happen? Find out next on Full Disclosure. I'm Leslie Dutton. Today on Full Disclosure, we're bringing you the news behind the news in this part 2 of our interview with Anita and Jamil Shah Sr., who are promoting a new city initiative named Jamil's Law after their murdered son. This law would revise the long-standing Special Order 40, which restricts the LAPD from inquiring about immigration status. We ask Anita what has been the reaction to her campaign for Jamil's Law.
The personal message that we have gotten so far is, don't do it. Keep it quiet. You don't know what you're talking about. You're talking about the wrong thing. That is not an issue. How dare you? Oh, racism. That's not fair. They didn't ask to be over here, so why are you picking on them?
That was the one thing where Espinosa was brought over when he was 4 years old. Well, I don't care if he was brought over when he was 1 day old. You know, he came in here illegally. His mother and father must have been illegal. Somebody brought him over here, and nobody's accountable for it. It doesn't matter if he was 4 years old. When he became 18 years old, you should have got rid of him. When he came 12 years old and you found out, it's not our fault.
Michelle Hennessy was the deputy district attorney assigned by Los Angeles DA Steve Cooley to prosecute Pedro Espinosa for the murder of Jamil Shah Jr. When she met with the Shah family, it turned into a curious confrontation.
What happened was we went to our first preliminary hearing, and she came out and said, "Hey, can I talk to you guys outside?" We're in the hallway to talk. Immediately, I didn't even know the lady personally. We haven't even talked, ain't been by the house, no investigation. She did nothing for us to help us with this case. And then here we are at our arraignment hearing, and she started talking about Special Order 40. You know, Special Order 40 was designed to help the legal aliens come forward so they can, you know, if they want to get deported, so we want to keep that intact. And Jamil's Law is going to break that down. If that happens, you know there might be some legal aliens in your case. They're going to be spooked, and if you keep talking to the media, they're going to put the case in San Francisco. You know, like, ooh, like we don't want to go there. Like, you don't want to go travel there every day for the case, right? And you know, and I said, well, where was Pedro Espinosa from exactly? Well, you know, he wasn't brought over here on his own. Someone brought him over here. Real sympathetic. I'm like, who is this lady? You know, she's supposed to be the prosecutor, this bulldog. They said she is a bulldog. She is just really, nope, she got an agenda. And I remember telling somebody there, somebody was reporting that, something about her I don't like.
Having a deep sense of right and wrong, Mr. Shah strongly protested against Deputy DA Hennessy's involvement.
Yeah, I want her to be disciplined because something was wrong, and you know it, I know it, the American people know it. But why are we trying to protect my son? You know, we're trying to keep his name clean from her. You know, she was the main proponent of, well, you know, you have the Spider-Man backpack on, and he has some red in his belt, so we're going to label him as a gangbanger. What? No, you're not. Well, you know, I asked her, I said, well, who is going to do this? You or the defense attorney? I'm thinking, the defense attorney, you would think, right? Yeah. She's like, oh, no, I'm going to do this. I said, you're going to make my son into a gangbanger? She says, yes. And I said, well, why would you do that? She said, because we need a motive, and the motive is the motive. We have to decide what Espinosa was thinking, and we have to have him thinking that. You know, and I said, well, you know what? Don't even worry about that. Just put me on the stand, and I'll fix the backpack and the belt. Don't, you know, no big deal. Just put me on. Oh, no, we can't do that. What? She said, no. I said, you're not going to put me on the stand? No, we're not going to put you on the stand. I said, why not? Because the case is solid. We don't need that. Because she knew I was going to fix what she was saying. That's why I just said, you know what? Put it through.
Mr. Shah questioned Deputy DA Hennessy's motivation. Why would she work to tarnish Jamil Shah Jr. in order to convict Pedro Espinosa? Who prompted her to take the case in that direction?
Why would she do that? Who was she doing that with? Was she in it by herself? I don't understand why she would, you know, she has a good job. Why would she risk that? You know, they already had Espinosa, solid case, Espinosa. Why does she have to take down my son? We know it's because of Jamil's Law. If I get Jamil, who's gonna get on that? I can get Doug McIntyre and O'Reilly and Lou Dobbs all at the same time. I can just dismantle all that by just bringing down his son. Ain't gonna happen. My son is clean. He's not gangbanging. You know that. You know he had no criminal history. You know everything. You did your job.
In fact, according to Mr. Shah, Deputy DA Hennessy wasn't really involved in the case. Mr. Shaw insisted that she be replaced because she was going at the prosecution with a whole different agenda.
You know, because she was in charge of the case. So you know she got footprints in the case, you know. So there's things that we got to iron out that after we talked to our DA to see what she did, what she didn't do. Because they're working like a hawk now. They've been here to the house 2 or 3 times, you know. They're taking pictures, talking to people. They're out there doing their job. That's all we ask for. Do your job. You know, if you get somebody who was killed, why are you trying to tear them down? Is that how you do your business? How many people have Michelle Hennessy did that to? They came in there and he was in the gang, even though the parent probably was saying, no, he wasn't, but they didn't say nothing.
What a problem. They were committed and involved to help the district attorney prosecute the man arrested for killing their son. And suddenly, the deputy DA is threatening to soil their son's good name. Some people would be intimidated by these legal manipulations, but not the Shaw family.
But at first, when we came home, I remember we were sitting there with my sister, we were sitting there saying, man, because we were thinking about what she was going to do. And we figured, well, we got to the 14th because of the preliminary hearing. That's what she said, she's going to drop this bomb on us. And we were just thinking. We weren't even talking for a whole day, just thinking, what are we going to do? I just, you know what? We just going to go after Michelle Hennessy. You know, we're going to tell everything and let it all out and just let people know what happened. And you don't believe it, it's the truth.
So Michelle Hennessy was removed from the case, and 2 other deputy DAs were assigned. Is that good enough for Mr. Shaw? We asked him if he thought that Deputy DA Hennessy should be disciplined for her unethical tactics.
There got to be something besides, to get off the case and then you give you another case, you'll be all right, just lay low. Don't defend yourself. You see, she never once came out and said, hey, I didn't say that, or I didn't do that, or no defense. I'm sure that was calculated. Don't say nothing, just let it go. Maybe we'll get this man what he wants from now on. Like even they told us, we know what happened with Michelle Hennessy. And we know that was a bad thing. But from here on, it ain't gonna happen. It's gonna be all right. We're gonna take care of business. So we want to give him the benefit of the doubt for that. Yeah. But from there backwards, we won't. She deserved whatever she gets. Because Michelle Hennessy didn't investigate nothing. Her whole time, she never came down and talked to me about nothing. So she don't know what I know. She never talked to me, you know. So these DAs are listening. This is what happened. Now you can think what you want to think, your opinion. You want to know what happened, or do you want to just play lawyer? You know what I mean?
Mr. Shaw is fed up with lawyers. He wants action, real action, that will stop giving illegal gangbangers the freedom to kill again and again until they get caught. We're going to take a quick break right now, and when we come back, we'll show you how most of the Los Angeles City Council also worked to suppress the Shaw's family call for action. We'll be right back.
Now, Full Disclosure has video blogs online.
A lot of things are going to be talked about concerning important subjects.
Log on now and be better informed.
Our goal is to represent to the people the truth on issues.
Video blogs where your voice is heard.
There is no other place where people can come and find the information that we have.
Full Disclosure video blogs at www.fulldisclosure.net.
Welcome back to Full Disclosure and our interview with the parents of the murdered Jamil Shaw Jr. The Shaw family went to speak before the entire Los Angeles City Council to plead for the city officials to support their efforts to modify Special Order 40. According to Mr. Shaw, Councilman Herb Wesson had them immediately sequestered and pressured them to back off.
He got there. He sent somebody to come get us. Took us in the back immediately. Shh, man, you know what you're doing? He was so scared. I thought maybe somebody was in here with a gun. He was like, man, you know what you're doing? You done opened up a hornet's nest with this one. I'm like, what are you talking about? I think you're talking about something else. Man, illegal immigration people are going to be picketing and boycotting and marching. Don't you know what happened last time? I said, man, who cares about that? I'm on this side. I'm on the side of good, right. I said, you know, Mr. Weston, I'm in a circle on the desk. You got to pick a side, you know. What side you on? We in the black community thinking you on the Latino side to the point where you don't care about the black people. You know, we're not saying they're not important because we're not after all Latinos. Which side are you on? Oh, well, you know, my son, he gave me some story about his son in Beverly Hills, how somebody saw him putting up signs like that and harassed him a little bit. Man, we talking about death over here. You know, my son is dead.
And Councilman Wesson wasn't the only city leader trying to quash their efforts.
Bernard Park's daughter or granddaughter was murdered right over here in the neighborhood by a gangbanger. Somebody shot into the car and killed her. So you would think he would have a little sympathy for gun violence. He ain't touching that. Matter of fact, he walked out the room. City council hid in the back as we were leaving the city council chambers. I looked back to see, and they was coming back in like, oh, is something, did I miss anything? Come on, man, you know, they don't want to do nothing because they think the Latino vote is so important and the people who are helping them with their campaign that they can't do nothing. The only people who can do something in the city council or in the world are the ones who's not in your pocket. If you got somebody in your pocket, you can't talk. And we realize that all the people that can't do nothing, they can't. Maybe they want to, but they old people and they can't say nothing, so they gotta sit there like an ostrich with their head in the sand, hoping whatever's coming don't mess with them.
As Mr. Shaw points out, in the name of political expediency, almost every person on the city council was unable or unwilling to change the current city policy to protect LA citizens from further violence. But Mr. Shaw found one who perhaps will have the intestinal fortitude to make a difference, Councilman Dennis Zine.
When we went in there that day, I looked at everybody. I could tell he's gonna be the one. I remember I told y'all? And sure enough, he started doing something. I knew it because you can feel people's hearts now. When you get a murder like that, you hurting that deep. I looked at each council person around the whole room, and I said, Zion gonna be the one. And it might not be what we want because Zion is sort of breastfeeding it, but he's trying. I said the only ones that are gonna do something are the ones who feel like I can do something. Nobody's in my pocket. I don't owe nobody. Maryville Ragosa probably owe everybody. Herb Wesson, Bernard Parks, Jan Perry, what's those guys' name? Weiss, everybody in there, except for Zion. He's the only one. You know, he's probably thinking, let me try to do something, but he got all this pressure that, oh, take this out, put that in, take this out. At least he's trying. Yeah. Whatever he's doing, you know, I give him credit for that. He came out here the other day, we had a memorial service. He was the only one there. And you could feel that he there because, ouch, that hurt, man. That could have been my kid. You know, it could have been my daughter or my son or my daughter's son. And he trying to do something.
Mr. Shaw points out, with the current police policy, nobody in the city is safe from being murdered.
The other day, Herb Weston had a little baby. He just had his daughter's baby, okay? I was sitting there saying, man, and you're not even helping out with this? How can you not be inside Jamil's law? We want the legal alien gangbangers. We're not after the whole population of Latinos. We want these dirty, mean, nasty ones that you know you got to fix. And you're going to have a newborn baby, you smiling. She could be in the car. She ain't got to be walking. They could shoot into the car and kill her. Why are you not making a stand on that?
We asked Anita and Jamil Shaw to explain, what exactly is Jamil's law?
Jamil's law was designed by Walter Moore, and he did before he even talked to us. So at first we was upset because how dare you put my son's name on something that we don't know nothing about. So we called him. He came over to the house and he explained what his motive was, why he did it and stuff. So thank you. So after he did that, then it was like, okay, yeah. Now we understand. Yes, yes, you have our permission to use my son's name on your law. Okay, it makes sense. We can't support that.
We asked Anita, what would the law do?
Jamil law would get all the illegal alien gangbangers that everybody knows about, that's documented, deported. Yeah. That's what it would do in a nutshell.
It'll make everybody have to do their job. The way it's going now, we don't have to do that because we're bound by Special Order 40, so we can easily say, oh, we ain't got to worry about that. But if we amend Special Order 40, it requires the police, and it's not a decision of should we or shouldn't we. No, this is your job. We're arresting illegal alien gangbangers. You know, we're going out there, we're looking for them, we're going to put them away, we're going to get them deported. If they come back, we're going to give them more time for that, you know. See, right now the police think they have to wait until you do a crime.
Rather than wait for another victim to be harmed, Jamil's law would require police to be more proactive and confront known gang members to verify their immigration status.
And you got to understand, most criminals don't get caught the first time. It's not like you do a crime, you get caught. You do a crime, you get caught. Right. Sometimes you might go 5 years of just a crime-ridden life before you get caught. I done shot 4 people, done raped somebody, done snatched purses, and done stole cars, and now all of a sudden you finally catch me. You know what I mean? You can't wait. It's too much. It's too much at stake. We got humans at stake that depending on you guys to protect us. If you want us to all carry around guns like the Wild Wild West, then that's what's gonna happen. If you don't protect us, we need protection from the police department. We got legal alien gangbangers killing our kids because they're black. They got legal alien gangbangers killing Latinos. They're killing white people, and they're disguising it as this stuff that we can't understand.
Mr. Shaw seems to be endorsing common sense. Why ignore a known criminal and wait until they catch them in the act of victimizing somebody again?
But if you make the police go out there and enforce the federal immigration law, it's on the books, enforce it. You know what I mean? They're there. Go out there and enforce it. 6 months in the county jail first time. 2 years if you get caught again. If you see a guy that you say, you know, I deported that guy before, then you can deport him again. People say, oh, this gonna get out and come back. So what? Just keep on deporting them. By then we can straighten the border and make fences or the border patrol, Minutemen, whatever we gotta do. Everybody gotta get involved. See, everybody just sitting around watching TV, watching the city like it's a TV set. It ain't gonna happen to me syndrome. It does. People think it ain't gonna happen to me. That's what we thought.
Yeah.
I never thought in a million years my son would get shot dead on the same street that I was raised on, that he was born on, that he played on, next to a tree planted by the mayor by a legal alien gangbanger that was in the system that they lit out without checking. I mean, can you imagine all these things that went wrong? You know, who would have thought that would have happened? That's why we know this must be the time. Like people say, the time is now, you know?
This perfect storm of crime has brutally affected the Shaw family, and they aren't going to sit around and tolerate it anymore. Now is their time, and they're taking it to the streets. When we come back, we'll hear from Councilman Zine and his approach to changing Special Order 40 to make Los Angeles a safer city.
A concerned citizen and activist for more than 3 decades, Leslie Dutton works to ensure you have a voice in government. Through Full Disclosure's online video blogs, she's asking the tough questions.
Where on earth is the mainstream media?
And you can participate.
We want to hear from you on this issue.
Full Disclosure video blogs, the news behind the news, online at www.fulldisclosure.net. Get involved today.
Welcome back to Full Disclosure. Mr. Shaw has been pressured by the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office and most of the LA City Council to stop referring to his son's murder as a racial crime. Mr. Shaw might have remained quiet until they started to paint his son as a gang member, and now he is adamant that they aren't going to ruin his son's reputation with his vigorous support of Jamil's law. He is going to compel them to do something proactive. He's fed up with doing nothing.
That's just how the legal aliens feel, Special Order 40. Well, they know who's gonna do nothing. Nobody's gonna do nothing, just keep it quiet. Everybody's into this secretive. That's why I'm so openly, because I'm telling everything.
Only bad things can happen
Yeah,
in secret.
don't say nothing. Keep it down, they're gonna say something. I told everybody, I don't give a damn. You mess with somebody who don't give a damn. We ain't got nothing to hide over here. You know, my son was clean. You can say what you want to say, but the facts speak for itself. Check the DA's office. Check the sheriff department. Check the LAPD. Check any city department around here that got to do with law enforcement. You will not find my son on it. You know, they checked it already. Leave it alone.
The public officials are fearful that he is fanning the flames of racial strife, and all their official posturing hasn't deterred him from his message one bit. He is even more insistent that there is a conspiracy of murder, and not just in Los Angeles.
There's guys in the prison system, in the jails, and they're called shot callers. And what they do is they give you assignments to go kill here and kill there, right? So if you look how this happened, Espinosa would be such a small-time hood, so to speak, with a violent disposition. For him to get out of jail in 24 hours and be able to get this whole crew together, because it wasn't like he's by himself. You know, he had people in the car and drivers and guns, and it's almost like we stumbled up on this killing crew, you know what I mean? Like, it seemed like he had an assignment. When you get out of jail, this is what you're gonna do. Go out there and kill blacks. That's how they say it in the prison. We want to get some work in the black community, go kill black people, show how tough you are, earn your stripes, you know, because he's young and he's crazy. So how else could he get out of jail and have a crew already assembled in 24 hours? He had to have done this in prison. They assembled the crew over the phone in the neighborhood. Say, okay, we need a driver, some people, and a car, and guns, and I'm gonna deliver this crazy food to y'all, and y'all take him around and let him kill people. How else could that go down? This man was 19 years old. He wasn't no big time gangster. He just a small time hood, you know, just a menace to society. How was he able to go out and assemble a crew like that in 24 hours? You know, and that's how we're talking to people that's important and they need to do something about it. Now we're gonna see if something happens very soon, because I'm telling them the same thing. Wake up, you know, we done stumbled up on something. This was an accident. This guy accidentally killed my son. It wasn't like he was looking for him, but while he was there, he killed him. But look past that. In 24 hours, how hard could it be to go back 24 hours and trace Espinoza? It ain't like he's out of jail 6 months. 24 hours. The time he got out of jail, who picked him up? Where would he go? 24 hours, that's quick, you can find that out. How was he able to get all these people together to carry out this killing spree they're getting ready to go on? Which was obvious, that's what happened. You know, it was a killing spree, and it got derailed, so to speak, because he killed my son. Maybe he killed somebody else's kid, they wouldn't say nothing about it. They might not even found out who did it. See, they need to look back and see, this is how they work it in the prisons. They send people out on assignments. You come to the jail and they hear all this black, you hate blacks, or you hate whatever, and you hate. When you get out, show me what you're gonna do. Show me you're supposed to be so bad and tough. Prove it. And that's what happened, because it was waiting for him. When he got out, he already had the gun, the car, the driver, people in the car. There's more people involved, and so far we only got one. But we know more, and we're gonna see, are they gonna ante up, or just gonna let it go? Because we know it's probably been going on all over the United States. Guys in prison, hey, when you get out and you go kill so and so, or kill some black people, or kill some white people, and well, how am I gonna do that? Don't worry about that. When you get out, you go see so and so, or they call on the phone, so and so, be at the door when he gets out, take care of him. The next day, take him out, let him kill some people. How else could you run something like that? 19 years old, just got out of jail. I can see if he was out of jail for a month or two, he could go find people that could help him. But he didn't have time for that. He was out in 24 hours. It was already killed somebody. So you know it had to be investigated. Why would you not want to investigate that? Like, you know, let's see what we could turn up. Because the people in the car, the driver, they had a spider web out. They know people in the 18th Street. The Espinoza, he knows people. People in the car, they know people. Who was the car registered to? You know what I mean? That person might be in on it. It's something going on, and nobody's looking at it. But because it happened to me, we're going to look into it. Because you know there's crews out there that go around killing. You know, I know that he wasn't after my son. If he would have went to that house, knocked on the door, and he would have been home, my son would have just walked on by, came in the house, and nothing would have never happened. But because he was out there, you could tell how callous he was about it, how nonchalant, that's what he was out there to do. Kill black people. He saw one, ooh, went over there, pow, pow, yeah, baby, that was so cool. You know, yeah, you see his face when I shot it, yeah, man, high-fiving. You know, it had to be like that. He probably felt so good for a little while.
Los Angeles City Councilman Dennis Zine was deeply troubled by the murder of Jamil Shaw Jr. He has joined the effort to modify Special Order 40.
And all I'm asking for is an officer who stops an individual who is a gang member, and they have to verify they're a gang member, not just, well, because you have baggy pants or you're wearing a t-shirt and you may have a tattoo. Not possibly, but the process of verification they're a gang member. If they make an arrest, that arrest goes through the process, and that individual is then held for immigration custom enforcement. So once the criminal proceedings are complete, then that person can be deported. Let ICE do their job. If that individual is not arrested, then I'm saying notify immigration custom enforcement. So they'll then have that information on file that this person was stopped by the police for whatever cause. There was no arrest. However, they're identified as an illegal individual in this country who's a member of a gang. And clearly the federal government's dropping the ball. They're not fortifying the borders. They're not doing anything that they need to do. That's an issue. That's a whole other subject. But when we're dealing with gangbangers who are killing people and terrorizing and extorting business owners, we have an obligation as government officials to do something and not just sit on our hands and let another day go by, because we're going to continue seeing these tragedies.
Mr. Shaw wants to get politics out of the way of solving the problem.
I used to always say, well, look at the mayor. He's got the sanctuary city policy. All they got to do is just say, you know what? We made a mistake. I know what we said about the illegal aliens, and it's bad what's going on. We got to fix this. We got a problem with the border. We got a problem with they running up all the money and the fees and the Medicare and welfare payments and schools. We got to fix it. Now, whatever you did yesterday, as long as you ain't dead, you can fix it today. That's what I tell my son that. Whenever you got a problem, as long as you ain't dead, you can fix it. There's people in jail that did crazy stuff and they get out. They ain't got to go back in. Okay, I made my mistakes. I'm going to fix it. You know, Steve Cooley can fix this problem. The mayor can fix it. Bernard Parks, Herb Wesson, Jan Perry, all the city council people. Well, no matter what happened in the past, you know it's a problem. Where do you stand? Right or wrong? Good or bad? Life or death? That's where we stand. You know, it doesn't matter what color you are. If you're on the side of good, you can be any color. If you're on the side of evil, you can be any color. What side are you on today, Mayor? What side are you on today, Mr. Cooley? The city council, are you on the side of right and wrong? You know the problem with immigration is wrong right now. We know it's broke. Yeah. What side are you on today?
We want to thank Anita and Jamil Shaw for appearing on Full Disclosure today. We want to know what you, the viewers, think. Do you agree that when police see someone they know is a gang member, should they be required to find out if they are here legally? Please call our Full Disclosure Town Hall number at 1-800-867-7777. That's 1-800-867-7777. And if you leave your name and number, we'll get back to you. Or you can log on our website at www.fulldisclosure.net and leave your opinion there. And if you leave your email address, we'll be happy to respond. I'm Leslie Dutton. Please join us next time for a continuation of this series when we'll talk to Councilman Dennis Zine about his efforts to modify Special Order 40. We'll see you then.
Full Disclosure is a non-commercial public affairs program sponsored by the Citizens Protection Alliance. For a transcript or videotape copy of today's program or a listing of airtimes and channels, call our toll-free number at 1-800-867-7777 or visit our website at www.fulldisclosure.net.